Hello everyone, I'm MD Rijwan Alamansari. In this video, I'll describe about deployment slots, one of the most incredible feature of Azure App Service. Azure App Service are much flexible to developers or even for DevOps engineer. It has several useful features like scaling or auto scaling. You can do in simple, easy one click, very easy authentication, and you can apply lots of security with a standard secured compliance, offline sync up, hybrid connection, also easy sharing, monitoring, insights, many more configurations are there. And one like it has many extensive features as well. So another incredible feature that Azure service has is deployment slots. Today in this video we will go dig down and we will learn more about this. Probably this is most underrated and many people don't know about C. So let's explore about it. So overview of this video. So we'll slightly discuss about Azure App Service and then what is deployment slots in Azure service, some facts about it. Also we'll check swapping option, what is swapping in the slots, and then rollback and swapping options, and then what are the different options we have available for swapping. Then we will do a quick demo on Azure App Service in the live environment, which means we will open one Azure App Service and we will do one slotting, deployment slot, and we'll do swapping, rollback, all those options. Then we will also discuss about the settings that are swapped or not, and then finally closing. So Azure App Service, it's a cloud based environment, which means like you have a it's a cloud computing based platform for hosting website creating operated by Microsoft. It is a platform as a service, which means you can quickly build, deploy, easily scale your apps and APIs in your terms. It perfectly work with .NET Core, or different other development platform like with the Node.js, Java, or PHP programming language. All these applications are supported in App Service. You can implement even container. It runs for both Linux and Windows machine. It is highly scalable, trusted, secured, and fully managed platform, which means you don't need to care about environment. It has lots of other options are there. So deployment slot, which is also known as like we called it slotting. So deployment slot, it's from my perspective incredible. So how it is incredible? So there are like let's say you have a environment called production site. So with production site, normally if you go for conventional web hosting, we deploy and publish the application to the hosting. Soon after publish, user can access the application via domain or endpoint. So if we think same thing in Azure, you have another advantage, that is deployment slot, which means like you can create a similar environment exactly with your production environment. Like for example, you have a production site that is called productionsite.com. So you can clone and if not a clone, you can create a separate slot that will be a staging site.com within same app service, and you can copy all the setting of that website. Then you will have a different endpoint, but all the setting will be similar. Then again you can create another slotting, likewise you can create different slots. So this slot means you can create different slot within same app service with different endpoints with same environment and same configuration. You have option, you can copy it, or if you want you can ignore it as well. So slots are like a different environment exposed via different endpoint, which means like if your app service is having the domain, let's say productionsite.com, you will have another endpoint production slash staging or something, or you can choose your own endpoint name. So one app instance is always mapped to the production slot, and you can swap the instance to assign slot on demand. So function apps are running on the app service may have multiple slots which undergo the consumption plan of only one slot is allowed. Now let's see what is swap. So swap, I call it as a swap magic. Why? because let's say when you create a different slot, the purpose of different slot is like, let's say you have a multiple, you have one application, you publish it, then you might be publishing another version of it, like fixing some bugs or adding some more features. So if you directly publish into the production, there is chances like your end user might face some issues, because the development environment are different. So what you can do, you can create a different slot having same of your production environment, and you can publish your latest version. So once you publish, you can use that new domain or new endpoint or new slots, and you can test it and you can check and you can verify it. Once you verified yes it is working as per your expectation and all those fixes are resolved, then you can swap it with the production, which means you can push the deployment or like the staging slot into your production environment. So traffic redirection is seamless, no requests are dropped during the swap. This is, isn't it cool? Like when you are releasing your one version in your production, user will face or experience no downtime. So definitely it is going to be one of the very exciting feature of Azure App Service. If the function is running during a swap, execution continue and next trigger are routed to the swap instance. Yes, I'm again saying user will experience no downtime. Actually what a swap actually does, so what it does is warm up the source slots by firing couple of requests into your root slot, and custom warm up rules also you can apply it. So first what it does, it swaps the virtual IP address between source and destination slot, thereby swapping the URLs of those slots. So also it will like you have option to enable like continuous deployment slot authentication setting if it is enabled. So for example, like if you have any production site and if you have a staging environment, if you release a new version in this environment, you can swap it with zero downtime. Now another one get advantage is that rollback. Let's say in some case you swap your environment from let's say staging to production, you ship your latest version to the production environment. However, after shifting again you came to know some issue is there or you are not satisfied, means if you are not happy with the version in the production, you can easily roll back your deployment slot, which means you can swap back and reverse the effect, that also with zero downtime. So you can choose your swap. So swap you can do either automatically to a slot. There is a new version of app in deployment slot, this is called auto swap. Now swap you can, and even you can do with the preview. So like swap option, if I say like normally like there is like four kind of swap. One is like manual swap, so you can swap with with your uh, custom manual work. Then another one is auto swap or swap with preview, and then VSTS, so that I will discuss further. So swap with preview, what auto swap is automatically like you based on your like rules, or if you have any new version of application available in your deployment slot, then it will automatically move into production slot based on your rules. Now swap with preview, it performs the swap in different stages. It applies the configuration element of the destination slot, or you can say destination slot to source slot. So you can test everything if works as expected before the actual swap happens. If you complete the swap, it does the same as the manual swap and warm up the slot and performs the swap. If you have the environment something like Visual Studio Team Service, you can leverage the deployment slot and swap feature there as well. So you can deploy a new version of your app in your deployment slot, then swap it using different step release like release definitions. So the illustration below shows that this release of definition in the Visual Studio Team Service. So now let me discuss some more facts about deployment slots. So what deployment slots actually do? If we create a new deployment slot, you can copy the configuration, which means you can copy all the application setting and configuration string. And when you create a new deployment slot, it will have a new endpoint. Means, let's say if you have a URL called rizwan azure website.net, then your deployment slot can be rizwan staging.azurewebsite.net, or you can give your own custom slot as well, like rizwan dash demo or rizwan dash uat, so whichever name you prefer. Swap option is there, means you can swap at any point of like between different slots. The best thing is like it uses same service plan. So if you scale up or scale down, all the slot will be scale up or scale down. Deployment slots are free to use, which means like if it comes with your pricing tier like standard or higher version. So once if you take that tier, you are only paying for one app service. All the other deployment slots are completely free. However, if you have installed any site extension, you need to do it again for the deployment slot, as it is a new app service. Like the different slot, you can consider that as a new app service under same service plan with no cost. In next video, we will do a hands-on and demo on Azure App Service. Like we will go to portal in Azure, and then we will create a app service. We will create a different slot. We'll deploy solution. So that all we will cover that hands-on into next video. So in this video, we have learned about one of the most useful feature of Azure App Service, that is deployment slot. Some interesting facts about it. Additionally, we learn about swap and rollback in the deployment slots. Then also we explore about different swapping option like auto swap or manual swap with preview. So this is how we can take the advantage of deployment slots in our application, where we can create a staging and testing slot, do all the proper validation, then move it to the production slot with swap option without any downtime. And in case of any issue, again we can easily roll back to our previous version without any downtime again. And these all slottings are coming free with the same app service plan, that should be either standard and higher version. So thank you for watching this video, and if you have any feedback or query or any kind of questions concern, you can write into the comment box.